Well, shall we?
Ciao.
All right, I'm here with my boy Casey, who's an expert in real estate. You got your 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, baby. I'm certified expert.
Right. You were in real estate since what, 2007 or something? Or you grew up doing it, I guess.
I kind of dove in high school doing some house flips with my dad. So I've been in the game for about 15 years. Um, More recently on the commercial side since 2007, 2008. So kind of shifted over and more specialized in the commercial side now. But it's been a ride. So I've seen a lot of things.
Yeah. You went to we had a call the other day. You were telling me about what's happening with VRBOs and Airbnb. I thought that was pretty interesting. You want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, so part of kind of what I do is, kind of an opportunistic investor is kind of who I work with. So, a lot of my clients were pivoting and getting into the short-term VRBO, Airbnb field with kind of their cooler historical properties or well-located properties, just as kind of a short-term cash grab. And then, that really blossomed over the last couple of years and they became, huge business for these guys. And, since this whole COVID-19 things going on, I mean, they've had a tremendous amount of cancellations and basically just slaughtered that entire industry. So I was rapping with you just kind of on the housing market front with rental properties. I mean, you're going to see a huge influx in, inventory hitting the market. I mean, you're just going to have all these people that have been chasing this VRBO and Airbnb cash cow, and that cow's out of milk. So you're going to see it go back and just kind of the standard long term rental market. So
Were prices on a lot of housing being based on the rental income from VRBOs? Like, are you going to see a reduction in home values because the rents are obviously going down?
no, I mean it's something that lenders from a lending component they weren't evaluating investment properties based on VRBO income. We were heading down that, and getting pretty close to that. But typical underwriting of these investment properties were just standard where the market rate was. They weren't able to kind of capitalize on that 150% markup or 200% markup that the cash flow is bringing from VRBO. So I don't think housing prices necessarily will have a huge impact. Again, that's kind of outside of my area of expertise. Just, residential brokers can kind of be more in tune with that. But as far as valuating apartment buildings and kind of cool location real estate for the VRBO, you're not really going to see a huge impact.
What about for commercial real estate? I mean, restaurants are closing. I mean, I can't even imagine hotels. Like, it's got to be terribly impactful. I know I was in real estate for like 3 or 4 years. I started my career at Marcus & Millichap, and one of the things that they said a key indicator was to watch the hotels because they're always going to tell you like, oh, if hotels are doing really bad, then it's something bad's really happening. I don't know if you think that's going to go down as well.
Yeah, I mean, hospitality is getting slaughtered. It's brutal. Obviously, the restaurant industry as well. Part of the interest. It's uncharted waters. I mean, we've never kind of dealt with a situation like this, and there's obviously material that's out there and things continuing to evolve, but it's totally unknown. We were on a conference call with our insurance specialist, so to get back to the restaurant component, I mean, that's the world I compete in a lot. So commercial,
Sure.
retail, that's where we kind of make our bread and butter. But
Like
from
like single tenant, triple net lease deals, stuff like that,
yeah,
or
and
like
kind of strip centers, shopping centers, kind of just your local restaurant operators. So
got it.
their government mandated shutdown is causing them to kind of run to their insurance company. Insurance companies looking at them like, hey, this isn't something that's covered. It's not an on-site illness.
Right.
They're kind of
Right.
chasing this loss of business revenue request through their insurance company, and their insurance company, none of the policies to cover this.
Right. It's like there's no actual cause of loss. So
Exactly.
how are they supposed to? It's not like wind caused it. That's
Totally.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super interesting. And the thing they're kind of hoping for is because, it's a government directed shutdown. It's not like something that they have really control over. It's our government saying, hey, you can't operate in this capacity anymore. So
Right.
really what the insurance companies is, the whispers I'm hearing are that basically there's going to have to be a bailout of the insurance companies, that they're
Mm.
going to have to kind of come in and cover these loss requests. And then the government can step in and kind of do a bailout stimulus, something for the insurance companies. But
Got it.
it's so unknown.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's really bizarre. So I have a friend who's works at Delta, and they're doing a massive layoff, like 50 or 75% of their workforce, um, which is really unbelievable. Like, what is that going to do to unemployment? But I mean, they've already asked for a multi-billion-dollar bailout, I think. I mean, it's just every industry seems to be impacted. We have clients that have B2B services that they provide that are no longer doing anything for paid services, for paid traffic there, and they've completely like shut their businesses down. And we have other clients that are doing really well, and they're scaling their businesses because people are at home, they're buying their goods, like consumer goods or health products or whatever it might be. So it's funny, like from two perspectives. Some people are taking advantage, quote unquote, taking advantage of it, and others are just trying to survive. I don't know if you have like a prediction about what you think might happen, but I'd be interested to hear your perspective from like landlords and your side of the industry with leasing as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's uncharted waters. It's something that we'll continue to see how it unfolds. The biggest thing is obviously these businesses are shutting down, and tenants aren't able to pay rent, and renters aren't able to pay rent. So you're going to kind of see a ripple effect. And through the initial conversations we're having with our landlords, our clients, and their lender, is basically we're opening dialogue and saying, hey, our tenants are closed for business. We need debt relief. We need basically to put a pause on principal and interest payments for at least 90 days. I mean, that's what we're requesting. The feedback's actually been pretty positive. I think the government's going to step in and work with these lenders and say, okay, we're going to, be able to kind of do some things and maneuver this around, whether that's deferred payments, putting them towards the back, no penalty payments. But that's kind of the initial feedback we're seeing. They're requesting tenant hardship letters and all this other backup documentation. So it'll be interesting to kind of see. The biggest unknown is how long this is gonna transpire. Is it gonna be a 30 to 60 day thing? If it is, I think we're gonna be okay. If it's 90, 120, 150 days, I think we're gonna be in some serious financial trouble.
Yeah, I just can't imagine that even if something happens, like this settles out in 30 days, the impact is going to have a ripple that lasts multiple quarters, right? Because a lot of, especially for like the market, which is tanking right now, a lot of those companies report quarterly. So the impact from this Q1 will be relatively small compared to next quarter because we only got 3 weeks of it or whatever.
Totally.
Relatively small. I mean, even you look at the market, this is not small, but you know what I mean? Like the financial numbers from these companies are going to start coming in.
Yeah, and even from an operational standpoint, it's something that even if it is, like you said, a 30-day or under a 60-day window, from an operational standpoint, a couple of my partners own restaurants, and laying all these people off and then starting business back up. I mean, that's going to be a tall task for these restaurants.
Yeah.
We're kind of anticipating, maybe 20% of the businesses will actually come in and reopen and then close back again. It's just, there's going to be so many growing pains, and it's going to be a lot more moving pieces than kind of just a simple, hey, we're back in business, let's go.
Yeah, I don't think that, I mean, totally, like Delta, going back to that example is a great one, because there's just no way that even if 30 days later, everyone wants to get on flights, there's just no way that Delta is going to be able to rehire 5,000 flight attendants or whatever it is. I mean, there's just no way that the ramp up is just way too much.
Yeah.
So there's going to be long.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, we're speculating here, right? But
totally.
yeah, interesting to think about.
So yeah, it's something that, again, I think that the longer this goes on, from an economic standpoint, that part I really, I think people kind of are going through phases here. So you have obviously this physical scare of, hey, what's this thing going around? is it going to affect us? Are we going to get sick? And then now, I think people are really starting to grasp the economic impact that this thing's going to have. And it's massive. I mean, we're facing something that's pretty serious, man.
Yeah, I remember when I was in 2008 in real estate, it was like everybody started to talk about how this thing, it wasn't going to be that bad and it wasn't going to last that long. And it just kept going down and down and down. And I don't know if it's going to be the case here, but it's never as fast to recover, I don't think, as as you hope it is. At least in my experience, it takes a long time for things to come back to normal. I don't think the rest of this year is not going to be normal, man. Like we have, in my industry, digital marketing, it's Father's Day, it's Mother's Day, it's July 4th, it's Black Friday, it's these holidays. And look at what happened with St. Patty's Day. I mean, how many people, restaurants, tchotchke selling companies that have this thing that they sell with St. Patty's Day were impacted negatively. I mean, those companies still have all that product. It's interesting to see how companies react too. Like inventory levels are a big thing, and ratings online are a big thing for my industry. So people are either like worried about running out of product, so they're slowing their spend down, or they raise their prices so they don't sell out because it might affect their rating. And one of the things I'm curious about is other like ancillary problems that you guys might be seeing from any kind of shakeup in the industry. Are there going to be like a surplus of tenants that are in higher demand now? Or I know back when I was in it, it was all about grocery anchored centers and all that.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of TBD. It's hard to say, how this thing's going to unfold, and, what tenants are going to survive and then thrive kind of after we get through on the other side. It's such a weird thing. You go back to what you're talking about in 2007, 2008, and that was such a larger, what I would consider larger from a system standpoint, is you had this housing market that just completely collapsed, and just putting the puzzle pieces back together was just such a long and tedious process. This being such a quick, not unforeseen, obviously the housing market was unforeseen by most, but our economy was thriving before this happened, as it was back then. So there's a lot of similarities for sure. But it'll be interesting to see how businesses bounce back. I think our kind of government, and we have some systems in place now for kind of short-term bailouts and systems that will help people kind of get through it in the short term. But again, we'll see how kind of in the next 60, 90, 120 days, what that looks like.
Would you be buying real estate right now or would you be waiting? Where do you see the opportunity?
I don't think your nose is open too much either way. I think if you have the opportunity to get your hands on some, good location stuff, I think with interest rates, they're still extremely attractive. I wouldn't be scared away, and I wouldn't tell my clients to be scared away. Really the only unsettling thing is, I guess in the apartment world, if you're coming in and this debt relief or rent relief that they're offering now lasts for 60, 90 days. I mean, you're going to have your lender, work with you either way, unless you're buying it all cash. So, I'm still pretty bullish, a little bit less than I was, obviously, but it's hard to kind of ignore the stock market as well.
Right.
And wanting to kind of put some money in that. So
we're chasing opportunity and trying to feel good about it, at the same time.
Exactly. So
cool, brother. Is there anything else you want to say, or anything else we should be aware of?
No, that's kind of it. I mean, again, it'll be interesting to see how things kind of play out here, but maybe we can wrap again here in the next couple months. And like I said, this is a day by day kind of update as we go, but we'll see.
Yeah, man. All right. Good to chat with you, Casey Young. I'll link you out so people can find you, my resident commercial real estate expert friend. Thanks for rapping, and we'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, buddy. Be well.
Later.